episode 6 of the House of the Dragon is out, and we definitely took a step back, in my opinion, from last episode, because not a whole lot really happened this episode, but some things did happen in this episode that I think were really good and really important. First of which is the Daemon stuff. I'm actually genuinely surprised that since the second episode, I can say that I enjoyed the stuff with Daemon in this episode. I have kind of been in between on how I feel about the stuff with Daemon over the last few weeks, because I don't feel like his story is going anywhere. I don't feel like his plot line is getting anywhere. He's just like he's there. And I've definitely heard that it's way different from the book, and people are agitated, people are frustrated, people are annoyed, and hey, I don't blame y'all, but I think this was good, but not really from a story perspective, but just because of the content that was in it. So, in the 2 times we got to see Daemon in this episode, he has these 2 prophetic dreams again. In the first one, he's back in the throne room of the Iron Throne, and he's being confronted by his brother, which we got to see Paddy Considine come back and perform his role as Viserys. While I will say his performance as Viserys in this clip of him basically repeating this, did you say that about my son? Did you call him the heir for a day? Your whores, your lickspittles, that whole thing that we all really loved from the first season, the intensity, the emotion, the acting in it, wasn't the same here. And I don't really blame him. I don't know if they were just like, we just need you to redo the scene. I just don't know if he couldn't bring it because he's like, oh my, I'm doing it again. Whatever, maybe. I don't think it was quite as good as what we saw in season 1. But it was great to see Paddy Considine back in the role of Viserys for this episode. And I still think the moment was really good between them. And you can tell in this particular moment that Daemon is really having this way bigger emotional reaction to this scene than he did even in the first season, in my opinion. I might have been reading it wrong, but I think Daemon was actually having a lot more of an emotional reaction in this moment of the scene, of like this memory, than he did when this memory actually happened in real life. He's trying to escape. And afterwards he's trying to escape. He starts to panic. He thinks the king of the castle, you're poisoning me. You're doing all of this. I'm keeping my guard up. And they're like, oh, sir, we're not doing anything. I don't know what's really going on. Maybe the castle. And Daemon attempts to leave. He has this conversation with Alice, and she was like, think about it this way. You're looking at it this way, man. Viserys didn't want the crown. Rhaenyra didn't technically want the crown either, but maybe that's what made them best suited for the role, is because they didn't want it. Whereas you wanted it, and that's what maybe makes it to where you're not the best fit. And, of course, Daemon's just like, do you have any advice for the River Lords to help me? And she's like, oh, asking for help. He goes, no. Advice. In the next time that we have this interaction with Daemon, he finds out that the older River Lord, the older Tully died, and so now the younger one is now in the charge. But he learns about that after his little prophetic dream again that he has with his brother. This is the second time we see him in this episode with his brother, and this moment I think was really great. And this is why I say the stuff with Daemon in this episode was actually good, because while I definitely don't see it moving the plot anywhere, at least I can't tell if it's moving the plot forward at all, it definitely felt more enjoyable to watch, because we get this scene with him and Viserys crying over Viserys' late wife. She's upset. He's upset. He's crying. He's torn up because his wife died. And in the first season, this scene never happened. And I really loved this scene, because in this moment, Daemon takes that chance that he never took in the first season, and he's like, I'm here for you, brother. I'm here. Don't get me wrong. I'm here. Just cry it out. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here for you. And that's always needed. And for once, the Daemon stuff felt enjoyable to watch, because I thought it was great emotional relief and emotional connection for Daemon's character. Hopefully this gets him on the path of getting the hell out of a Harrenhal for the sake of the story, or maybe we'll start to make the Harrenhal stuff more enjoyable. But at least I can say that the stuff with Daemon in this episode was far more enjoyable than it has been in the last couple seasons. So props on this one for this episode for making the stuff with Daemon more enjoyable. And it was fantastic seeing Paddy Considine back doing the role of Viserys. I hope that we see him a little bit more, and maybe some more flashbacks or maybe some memory stuff. I wouldn't mind seeing Paddy Considine again. But if this was the last time we get to see him for the rest of the show, great job, Patty Constantine. Welcome back to being Viserys for one last time. And you did, while I won't say that your performance in this episode was as good as your season 1 performance, your season 1 performance was fantastic, and you did deserve an award for the performance you gave in first season. Now, let's move over to Aegon, Aemon, and all of them. Aemon's definitely taking the role of being basically the king now to his head. He's ordering everyone around. He's telling the Lannister guy, hey, you can tell your brother I'm not some dog to be called, and he will do what I tell him to do, or he will dealing with the dragons the least of his worries, or at least dealing with Daemon. While we're at it, you're going to go try to deal with the Triarchy, the people out in the sea from first season, I guess. Yeah. And of course, they tell him, like, yeah, they may be a help, but are they really worth the help? Chris Cole's like, hey, are you sure you want to invite them to our shores type of situation? And Aemon's like, these guys will be helpful. They'll help us get rid of the Sea Snakes blockade, and they'll love to fight him again. And he tells Kristen Cole, you're going to go to Harrenhal. You're going to deal with all this stuff with Daemon, and I will meet you there in due time when I feel ready. Yeah. And my uncle is a welcome challenge if he even dares face me. Aemon, I can tell you this right now. Your uncle's got no beef with dealing with you. Your uncle's got no beef fighting you. Probably the best time to try to deal with him right now is because he's kind of losing it. But once Daemon clearly gets his mind back on track, Aemon, I think you're barking off a bit bigger of a stick than you realize. He also, in the same term, kicks his mom off the council. So Alicent's technically no longer a part of the council, which... she has this emotional moment with him, and he's like, do the scars of your past, have they not been satisfied with all the vengeance you've acquired type of situation? Even if they have in Daemon's eyes, he's like, I'm the king. I'm going to do what I want. And I can tell you this right now. He doesn't feel like his vengeance has been justified, because for those that have been saying that he still loves his brother, he absolutely loves his brother. It's all for his brother. Watch that scene again where he's in the throne room with his brother, because he finds out that his brother is doing a little bit better, just a little bit better, and he goes in the room with him and he starts talking to him. And Aegon's like terrified. You see it on his face. Aegon's like terrified that Aemon's in the room alone with him. He doesn't want him in there. That alone should tell you that Aegon's terrified of his brother now. There's no love between them right now. Whether they truly love each other or not is irrelevant. Right now, there's not. Aegon is terrified of his brother, and his brother's telling him, like, what all happened. He's like, I don't remember. Aemon's like, yeah, you just get better. And he's pressing the marble orb against him, and all the burns. Yeah, I'm going to say Aemon does not care for his brother. Aemon does not love his brother right now. And as far as Aemon's concerned, he hopes his brother dies, because Aemon's got exactly what he wants. He wants to be king, and he's taking full advantage of it. So Aemon is definitely becoming that tyrannical ruler, because we see it in the streets. People are pissed off. People are mad. They want food. They're tired of the sheep being sent to the dragons. They're tired of not having any food, which ends up leading to Rhaenyra and I think it was Mysaria's plan. Yes, their plan to send food in the flag of the red dragon on black, sends the foods over there. The people of King's Landing grab the food, bring it in. Still a lot of turmoil, still a lot of fighting happening because of this. But at this point, they're starting to cheer Rhaenyra. They're like, Rhaenyra, long live Rhaenyra, Queen Rhaenyra, and this inevitably leads to them attacking the cathedral. I know a couple of videos ago I said that the cathedral is always a sacred place. That's why people don't go up there and try to murk people in a church, except for barbarians. Oh, sorry for father. But in this situation, the townspeople, the villagers, the small folk, as the title suggested, they're not happy with the authority. They're not happy with the royals. They feel like they're being betrayed. They feel like they're being pushed down. They feel like they're being abused and ignored. We have this scene in the brothel with Ulf of White and one of Mysaria's ladies, I'm going to assume. They're having the conversation about, yeah, my girls, they were brought up into the castle. They had this feast and blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to speak ill. And Ulf is like, no. King Viserys, he liked his parties. He liked his wine. He liked his good time. But he never did this stuff when the small folk were torturing. So the small folk are tortured and being mistreated. So the small folk are turning on the Greens. They attack They attack Alicent and Helena they're trying to run away, removed from the situation. They get grabbed by a couple of the civilians. Alicent gets hit with the fish they call her the Queen of the Fishes because that's all they've been able to eat over the last few weeks. The townspeople are not good. So Mysaria's plan and Rhaenyra's plan to basically have the people turn on the Greens and start respecting Rhaenyra have definitely gone in their favor for now. They're definitely turning in the favor of Team Black, which is a good thing because I've been Team Black the whole time. I think on the sole premise that Team Green completely usurped it. You know, Daemon was right about Otto Hightower. Everything that was always said about the Greens was accurate. They are usurpers and they are power hungry and they only care about themselves. Like, for those that want to go, no, but what about, no, they've had every opportunity to help the people and the people were betrayed first. And that's exactly how the story is telling you. The Greens have betrayed the people and people are now being pulled towards Rhaenyra, which is what Rhaenyra wants. Another big scene that happened with the townspeople that turned them even more against Alicent was when she's grabbed by one of the elderly civilians. One of the knights cuts off his arm and she starts screaming at him to don't do it, don't pull your swords, don't do it, and he still cuts it off, and everyone sees this happen. Start bum rushing them, they start attacking the knights. Alicent's telling them constantly, put your swords away, this will just make things worse. Alicent's being level-headed in this moment, but she's terrified for her daughter's sake, she's terrified for her sake, she's terrified for the people's sake. Like, I'm not saying she doesn't care about the people, but she definitely decided to care a little too late. They decided to care a little too late, in my opinion. So King's Landing is right now being turned towards the Team Black, which is great. With Team Black now, we lost this guy. I completely forgot his name, but he's a Darkle. Rhaenyra's talking to him. He's like, found out that your lineage, you have Targaryen blood in you. I want to see if you can be a dragon rider. We're going to put you in front of a dragon. There, you know, our council's like, I don't know about this. This might be a bad idea. She's like, I'm doing it, whatever. So we have the scene with them in the dragon stone. He stands before Sea Smoke. Sea Smoke kind of makes it seem like he's going to accept him and then turns on him, lights him up, lights up at this dragon keeper. Sea Smoke then dips out. He's not having it. That guy's dead. And I feel bad for him because he's been, as far as I can remember from these episodes, he's been a good help to Rhaenyra. He's been a faithful follower of Rhaenyra. And otherwise, but he's gone. So that guy's gone. One of the elderly guys from Rhaenyra's council's talking to her. He's going off like, you know, the people this, and we told you not to do this, and we lost this. And she turns and she smacks him, and she just says the phrase, "It's my fault that you no longer fear me." She has a conversation with her son, and she's like, they don't respect me. Because he comes over, he's like, oh, I heard you smacked one of the guys in front of everybody. And Rhaenyra's like, they don't respect me. They don't fear me. They view me like a sister. They view me like a mother, not the ruler, not the lord. And Jacaerys is like, my ruler is my mother, and I wouldn't change that. And that makes Rhaenyra feel better. You see the happiness wash over her face, but again, that works for Jacaerys, and it probably works for Baela and Rhaena, and you know, though, well, I'd say them because the rest of the kids are really young. So for those three, that works, that their lord, that their queen is also their mother, because they don't see Rhaenyra as weak, but they also see that she is a loving and affectionate mother, and they love that for her. But for her council, that's not enough. They're like, we need, you know, they think they want Daemon. They think they are like, we need Daemon back. Even Jacaerys makes the comment about, we need, you know, maybe we need Daemon's army, and Rhaenyra gets upset about it. And I don't think Jacaerys was trying to say we need Daemon. What he was trying to say is like, we gonna need that army that Daemon's dealing with. Like, we kind of need to get information from Daemon because we kind of need that army. But that upsets her, and it's understandable. And Mysaria walks in, which has like, hey, our gift has been sent out, which was the boats from the earlier scenes. So things are in motion with Team Black. Jacaerys, he's not giving up on his mom, but his mom feels like she's kind of torn in between of things. Rhaenyra is really trying to find her footing as a leader, as a ruler, and all this right now, but also still trying to maintain being her mother, being a mother. And good that Corlys is on her council again. It's good that he's taking up a hand, because now he can be that authority figure that will allow those other guys to shut up and listen to Rhaenyra, so Rhaenyra can start stepping in the right path to being that real authority figure that she needs to be. Speaking of Corlys, my man didn't have but like 2 lines in this whole episode, and he kills it. But that's not what I talk about. His sons, Adam of Hull, and I'll put his name there. I forgot it. I said 2 speaking lines. He actually has a whole line with the older brother. Anyway, Adam of Hull and his older brother. We have a shot of them talking. Well, the older brother talking with Corlys. Corlys like, I want you to be my first mate when the ship's ready, and he's like, sir, no. And he's like, no. And he's like, no. I want you to. You've earned it. And he's like, is this a request or is it a command? And he's like, you're going to... Basically, he kind of gave it off as a command. So later when we see the brothers in the room, the younger brother, Adam of Hull, he's like, why don't you take advantage of it? You saved him, but why don't you take advantage of it? And the big brother's like, it's not worth it. Corlys would rather see his kingdom and his throne sink into the ocean before he claims us as his boys. And I do hope that inevitably kind of turns at some point to where Corlys does acknowledge them as his sons and admits it to them that his sons. I mean, Rhaenys knew. At this point, I don't know why he would hide them. I don't know why he would keep them hidden anymore. They could be great help, and Rhaenys pretty much Rhaenys figured that out almost immediately from looking at him. So she was aware, but she's gone, and I think at this point Corlys needs to step up, acknowledge his 2 boys, bring them into the stuff with Team Black. And I hope they have that happen. I do. I don't know if it happens in the book, but I hope they have that happen, at least for the story wise. I hope he steps up and acknowledges his sons sooner rather than later. To end the episode off, we have Adam of Hull out on the beach, and Sea Smoke shows up, because Sea Smoke, after killing that guy in the dragon pit, he takes off. He's flying over the islands. He comes across Adam of Hull. He sees him from the sky, comes down, and like instant connection. Like you saw the instant connection, because Sea Smoke starts chasing him through the woods. He starts chasing him across the beach, chasing him through the woods, catches him, and he starts getting real close. And Adam of Hull currently is like terrified. He's like, holy crap. Oh god, a dragon. But then he notices as Sea Smoke gets closer to him, like Sea Smoke like eases up, and then you see this smile come across Adam's face. He knows like the dragon's not going to kill him, and there might be something here with him and this dragon. Like he's like, wait a minute. Okay. So when the episode ends, they come in and they barge into Queen Rhaenyra's room, which she's in with Mysaria. Tells him, hey, Sea Smoke's been seen flying over the lands. And she's like, yeah, he kind of does that. What about it? He's like, well, he's been seen with a rider. And they're like, who could it have been? And they're like, probably the Green. So she takes off, jumps on Syrax. Yes, Syrax. And the ending shot is her flying off towards, obviously, to find find Sea Smoke and who this new rider is. And it's all a shot of the next to coming preview. She obviously comes face to face with Adam Hall with the Sea Smoke. So again, she confronts him, but that's going to be next week's episode. So clearly, this episode was solely set up to show you the turning of the people against Team Green, was to show the dragon seeds are now truly going to start becoming a factor, showing you Adam of Hull as a dragon rider. Someone jokes says Mysaria is a dragon rider. Clever joke. Rhaena found out about the dragon, where she's been saying she finds out about a dragon that's been living there, and apparently that's going to be Sheep Stealer. So apparently she's going to be the rider of Sheep Stealer, or at least people think she's going to be, because the book, it's a character Nettles, and they think Rhaena's being switched for Nettles. I don't know the book, don't know, but it seems like that might be the case. Rhaena might be the one to claim the dragon's Sheep Stealer, if that's where they're going. They showed a lot with Ulf and Hugh Hammer. So these guys are going to start to becoming really important, and we're going to start to see the dragon seeds becoming a thing, taking their stance with the right, claiming their dragons, and joining the allegiances on side to side. So for those that are like, how are they going to do the whole dance of the dragon in this 8 episode? Is it 8 episode season? I've been hearing this too. Is it? Last season was 10, so I hope there's at least 10 for this one, but apparently might only be 8. For those that are curious how they're going to do the whole battle between the Greens and the Blacks in this season, they're not. They're absolutely not. This season was solely set up to start the war. Start the war and set up the dragon seeds. That was it. That's what this whole season's about. And I'm completely okay with that. I'm okay for long setup storytelling. I don't need them to rush it. We all know what happened with the end of Game of Thrones, how the last 2 seasons were basically really rushed, and the last season was extremely rushed. So we don't need that. Don't do that. Let this story take its time, tell its course. But I understand the frustration. Y'all want to see some stuff. I can promise you right now, if this season is only going to go to 8 episodes, it's going to end with all the dragon seeds claiming their dragons, and then they're going to set the stage, and the war will officially full-fledged be on full swing at this point as we go into season 3, and season 3 will be all about the Dance of the Dragons, all about the war, all about the death, all about that. So don't worry, the season's probably not going to show it, or if anything, it's going to start it with the last episode. It's going to start the full-on war shebang, because we already kind of got part of it, but like they're going to full-on start with probably the last episode. Then we go in season 3, it's going to have everything. So it's either going to end showing us a little bit or end showing us that it's about to start type of situation where no relaxation. Either way, this season was clearly set up for the Dragonstones. This episode was, 7 out of 10. It's just 7 out of 10. It's not a bad episode. It was an enjoyable episode. Things were happening, but if you're looking for the action's not really there. If you're looking for all the dragon war and conflict, that's not there. We're back to the storytelling, back to the plotting and the scheming and the this and this, move the chess pieces. That's all what's here. So if these last few episodes have been boring you, I get it, but hey, it's okay to watch long form storytelling, but again, action isn't the sole selling point of this story. And if that's all you care about, maybe just stick to John Wick, because this season's been really good in terms of setup, but in terms of action, there's not really any action. It does seem like it is prolonging a lot of unnecessary points. The stuff with Damon should have been wrapped up like 2 episodes ago at best, maybe 3. But I'm glad that I think we're finally done with the stuff with Damon. But again, I hope he's done with the stuff with Harrenhal, or at least with the Vision stuff. But I did like the scenes with him and Viserys. Patty Constantine coming back was great. Rhaenyra's taking charge. She's finally had enough. She's going out. She's going to confront Adam of Hull and Sea Smoke. I look forward to next episode. I look forward each week to every episode, honestly, but I really look forward to next episode. This was, again, like I said, 7 out of 10. Solid episode. Things happen. A little slow, little action. People are turning. Everything's moving in peace. It's going. We will get the Dance of the Dragons. Please just be patient, guys. Please be patient. Oh, and one more thing. Fuck Kristen Cole.